With the gold rush of '49 came the Germans, the French, the Armenians, and the Italians, people to whom wine was as essential as bread. Cuttings from the famed vineyards of Europe and Asia were grafted to old mission stock, and they flourished. But greedy outsiders were at work to gain a stranglehold on the infant industry. Antonio Lacchiavo's father owned the winery most coveted by the would-be monopolists.
The Californians.
I've come to live where life is best. In the Golden West, I'm gonna strike it rich in California. California.
Leone, sit down. Crotch. How have you and your son been getting along lately?
He's been in a very black mood.
You know why?
Who knows? I'm gonna give him everything. I let him do whatever he wants. I'm worried, Matt. My son Antonio's no come home last night.
Leone, what would you do if your son was in trouble? And I mean, big trouble.
Matt, you know I cut off my arm for him. But what trouble?
Your son is in jail.
In jail? You take me to him, I choke him, I break his neck.
All right, don't get excited, don't get excited.
In jail? But it's such a terrible shame. My own son in prison. Ah, there you are. Well, go ahead and say something. Tell me you don't do it. I'm not gonna believe you, but tell me you don't do it anyway.
Well, if you'll only listen to me,
All right, I'm listening. Go ahead and tell you lie. Go ahead, talk, say something.
I didn't do it. I couldn't have, I swear by all that's holy.
But he's innocent. Look, he's just a boy. What did he supposed to do?
A merchant, Whit Jenkins, reported he was robbed at gunpoint by Antonio.
He's lying, he's a thief.
When Officer Shab found him, he was dead drunk in an alley right back at Jenkins' store.
Antonio, you drunk?
With the stolen money still in his pocket.
Well, somebody must have put it in my pocket. After I had that drink of whiskey, I don't remember anything.
But why you drink whiskey at a saloon when your father owns a whole winery?
Because I was playing poker, Papa.
You, just a boy, playing poker in a saloon.
How much did you lose?
$1,500.
And where do you get the money?
I won $300 from the night before, and they trusted me for the rest.
The night before? And you've been sneaking out of the house behind my back.
Why should I have to sneak? Oh, Papa, look, I didn't rob Jenkins. Please, put up the bail for me, and I'll prove to you I didn't.
No, I no put up for you bail. You like to drink whiskey. You like to gamble a saloon. Then you're gonna rot in jail. I don't know you. You know my son. Open the door, Matt, to let me out of this prison.
There, you see? A fine father I've got.
Funny. He thinks what a fine son he's got. Antonio, why this sudden urge to gamble? What did you need all that money for?
I wanted to buy a fishing boat so I could be on my own. I'd asked Papa for the money. I'd earned it. I've been a hired hand without pay since I could walk.
You inherit the winery.
I don't want the winery. I don't want to live with Father anymore. I'm sick and tired of his telling me what to do and criticizing me when I don't do it his way. Ever since Mama died, he doesn't let me out of his sight. He tries to do everything for me, but undress me and tuck me into bed.
Antonio, maybe there's some things about your father you don't understand.
Maybe there are some things about me that he doesn't understand.
Well, to get back to your problem.
Marshal, do you think I stole that money?
It looks that way. You lose a lot of money gambling, so you rob Mr. Jenkins to get yourself off the hook. There's one thing in your favor, though. Witnesses say you only had one drink.
Marshal, I was drugged. I'm sure I still feel a little dizzy.
I see. Well.
Oh, Marshal, if Papa tries to put up bail for me, tell him I refuse. I don't want his help.
You...
course I'm sure it was the Lachiavo boy, Marshal. Well, there he stood with a pistol in his hand and murder in his eyes.
Maybe he didn't know what he was doing. He says he was dead drunk.
Oh, so that's his alibi, is it? Claims he was drunk and didn't know what he was doing, huh? Well, he's a liar. He was sober as a judge.
You don't know some of our judges. Well, then you mean you would swear the man who robbed you was cold sober?
Well, of course I'll swear it. Why, there wasn't even a trace of liquor on his breath.
Well, that makes it your word against his, though. You got any witnesses?
Yes, Captain Craig.
Craig? But you told Officer Shabb you were alone when you were robbed.
Well, I was alone in here, but Captain Craig was in the office. We'd been talking business.
You know, I don't believe you. What business would an important man like Craig have with a penny ante operator like yourself?
What do you mean, penny ante? Why, him and me got over $100,000 tied up in 3 wineries, and we're...
You're after the 4th? Is that it? Oh, thanks, Jenkins. You've been a big help. Let's go, Steve.
Hello, Captain Craig.
Why, Steve, what brings you here?
Oh, just thought I'd come by and chat a while.
What can I do for you?
You can give me $1,000 to get out of town.
Why should I?
Because I'm going to double-cross Matt Wayne, and San Francisco won't be healthy for me anymore.
What do you know that's worth $1,000?
You and Jenkins framed the Lachiavo kid, but your scheme won't work. Old man Lachiavo won't have to deal with you. The kid's bound to go free.
What makes you so sure?
Because Matt Wayne tricked Jenkins into bragging that the kid who robbed him was cold sober.
So?
So Matt knows nobody could get as drunk as Tony seemed to be in 10 minutes. He knows the kid must have been doped so as the money could be planted on him.
And what else does Matt Wayne know?
Do I get my $1,000?
Yes, you'll get your $1,000.
Matt also tricked Jenkins into bragging that you and him are partners in the winery business. That means you'll have to figure out some other way to get your hands on Lachiavo's property, doesn't it?
Indeed it does, Steve. Indeed it does.
Ah, Matt, come in, come in. You like a little glass of wine?
Thanks.
His Lachiavo's the best. You know, one day it was going to be Lachiavo and son.
Did your son know that?
No. No, he's no want to stay home and make wine. He's want to go on a boat in the middle of the ocean and catch a lobster. But my Antonio's are too young to run a fishing boat out in the middle of the ocean. He'd get himself drowned, just like his uncle did in the old country.
Why don't you let him make his own mistakes, even at the risk of drowning?
But I know what is the best for my Antonio. You don't have a son. You don't know how a father feels.
I do know how his son feels, though. My father thought he knew what was best for me. And I thought I knew everything. Each one of us hurt the other quite a lot. My only regret is that neither of us got around to seeing the other's point of view. And now it's too late.
All right. Then let him see mine first. I'm the father.
Mr. Lachiavo. Who are you?
I'm Matthew Wayne, City Marshal of San Francisco.
Oh, I'm Judy Carson from the ranch next door.
How do you do?
Hello. Has Tony come home yet?
No. He's in jail. They say he robbed a man.
Who says? Tony wouldn't rob anybody.
No, but he's do worse. He's a drink of whiskey and he's a gamble all night long.
I expected something like that. Tony's been boiling like an overheated tea kettle lately. He was bound to blow the lid off sooner or later.
It's a fine thing for you to say, Miss Strawhair. I think you caused all this trouble.
He hates all blondes and he's jealous of me. He thinks I'm trying to steal his son. But he's wrong. He wouldn't be losing a son, he'd be gaining a daughter. What this place needs is a woman. Just look at it, it's a mess.
How many times I'm told of you and my son and you children? And now when Antonio gets old enough to get married, then...
I know. You'll pick out his bride for him. Some big, fat, black-headed workhorse from the old country. Don't let the color of my hair fool you. I can tromp on a grape with the best of them. And when it comes to having babies...
I don't want to hear that kind of talk in my house. Get out.
I'll leave as soon as I fix you something to eat. Without me and Tony, you just starve yourself to death. He really likes me, honest. It's just that he's too stubborn to admit it. Why don't you go on down and get that son of yours out of jail, Papa Lacchiavo?
Please, no call me Papa Lacchiavo. I am no longer a father. I have no son.
You're having a visitor, Leone. Don't let him know we're here. Come on, Judy.
Come in, come in.
Whose horse is that outside?
It's mine. I'm just by it. You're wasting your time, Captain Craig. The wineries are not for sale. If I tell you once, I tell you 100 times, is no for sale.
You'd better listen to me, Lacchiavo. Your son is out of jail. Unless you follow my advice, he'll be at the bottom of the bay this time tomorrow.
My son is to break out of jail. He's escaped. Huh?
No, he didn't escape. Somebody bailed him out.
But who?
Somebody who thought you were a rich man. They're holding him prisoner. They want money for his release, a lot of money.
And you are one of these men.
They asked me to make arrangements.
I'm no gonna make arrangements.
Unless you agree to their terms, your son will be dead before sundown.
No. I'm not gonna pay. I refuse to pay. Never. How much money these men want?
$20,000.
$20,000? I no have that money. Everything I've got is in a winery.
All right. I'll put up the money for you. But I'll have to have some sort of security. What's your winery will do.
Oh, so that's it. Is a trick to get my winery from me, huh?
Well, it's either that or your son's life. I don't want the whole winery as a collateral. A mere 51% will do.
51% to give you control.
Look, here's a promissory note dated August the 15th and due 3 days later. That will give you 3 days to raise the money from among your friends. Now, isn't that fair enough? Or do you want those men to dispose of Antonio? But I'm just trying to be your friend, Leone.
I sign. You hear everything?
Yes.
If you hadn't been so hard-headed, if you'd put up the bail for Tony, he'd be safe now, and so would your winery.
If Antonio had paid attention to me in the first place, then nothing would have happened.
And why didn't you arrest him? Why aren't you going after him now?
Don't worry, Judy. I'm going after him. He's the one person that can lead me to the others. But I don't want to make my move until I've got enough evidence to put him away for good.
Please, Matt, don't interfere. The wineries are no important. Only my son.
Don't worry, Leone. I'll be careful. Take care of him, Judy. He needs you.
The place is closed, Marshal.
Well, let's open it up then. I came to have a chat with you. Your man got a little nasty.
Oh, he's an uncouth person. What can I do for you, Matt?
Somebody put up bail for Antonio Lacchiavo, and I understand he's being held for ransom.
You've been talking to his father?
No. It's a rumor I picked up around town.
Well, it's true. Or rather, it was. I put up the money for his release.
You did? Where is the boy?
Right here.
Why didn't you send him home?
He doesn't want to go home. Seems he's mad at his father.
Are you holding him against his will?
Oh, Matt, I wish you'd learn to trust me. I really am a very lovable character. Tony. Oh, Tony, come in here, will you? Marshal here wants to talk to you.
Well, I don't want to talk to you, Marshal.
Come on, I'm taking you home.
Oh, no. I'll never go home again.
You've certainly been generous with your whiskey, Craig.
Oh, he's my guest.
Antonio, did anybody hold you captive after you got out of jail, or have you been here all along?
Why do you persist in misunderstanding me, Marshal? Go on, answer him, Tony.
Some men grabbed me, and they took me to a warehouse or someplace, and they were going to kill me. But Captain Craig got me out of it. Captain Craig's my friend. He got all the charges dropped against me. My father wouldn't even bail me out. And Captain Craig did.
Yes, now I'm going to lend him some money to buy a fishing boat so that he won't have to take any more orders from his father. Now, come along. You better get some sleep, son. You've been under a strain. Come on.
Oh, no. I've been fine. Oh. You tell Papa to stay away from me, you hear? Tell him to stay far, far away. Yeah?
Yeah.
You're deliberately widening the breach between the boy and his father. What are you cooking up, Craig?
You'll never know, Marshal. Nobody's going to talk to you about me. They're much too frightened of me.
That's strange, isn't it? Considering what a charming person you are. But people will talk, don't you worry about that. Especially Jenkins. He'll always talk under the right circumstances.
Have you been to your office lately? Just about an hour ago, poor old Jenkins was found murdered in a back alley. I'm going to miss him. He was my best friend.
Well, don't grieve too much. I have a feeling you'll be joining your friend very soon. Antonio. Psst. Antonio. In case you don't realize it, you're not a guest here, you're a prisoner.
Prisoner? Me?
Shh.
What do you want of me, Marshal?
To convince you that everything that's happened to you was arranged by Craig.
I don't believe it. But what do you want to do it for?
To get your father's winery.
Good, I hate the winery.
You come to your senses. Do you realize that your father signed over a controlling interest in that winery to save your life?
You mean Papa loves me that much? To sign over the winery?
That's right. You want him to lose it?
No. Oh, but what can I do?
I've got to catch Craig in an illegal act. Send him away for good. To do that, I've got to set a trap. Use you for bait. It'll be risky. We can't let your father find out about it. He'd rather lose that winery than have you hurt. So we've got to convince even him that you're playing along with Craig. Are you willing to try it?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Here's what I want you to do.
I've got supper on the stove. You couldn't raise the money?
No. All my friends are afraid of Captain Craig.
Well, I'm not. It's my egg money. Only $100.
You good girl, Julie. I'm like you very much.
Is my hair getting darker by the minute?
You good girl. You too good for my son.
It's Tony.
Oh.
Who's your friend?
This your girl, Tony?
Yes?
There seems to be some doubt about that now.
Judy, you go home.
No, 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 let her stay. This is going to be a friendly conversation. Nothing she shouldn't hear.
Captain Craig, who are you to give orders in my house?
Oh, you forget, Papa, that this property goes with the winery, and you only own 49% of it. From now on, we're going to call it Craig's Winery.
We? So now you're joining my enemies. Get away from me.
Try to be more reasonable about this.
Captain Craig's your friend, Papa. Well, the papers you signed are legal, but he didn't want you to change your mind. He didn't want them to use force on me.
No. But he used you, my own son.
Oh, I'm willing to let you stay, Lucky Arvo. You can go on running the winery just as you always did.
No. Never, never.
Make him listen to reason. Tell him what I've been doing for you.
Yes. He's going to buy a fishing boat for me, Papa, and we're going to be partners. In the winery, too. Oh, he'll let you go on running the winery, Papa, until we learn all your secrets. How you make the wine, and then... Oh, you tell him what we're going to do to him then, huh?
Shut your mouth.
We're going to kill him, aren't we, Captain? Aren't we, Captain?
You wouldn't talk like this unless you were drunk.
Oh, Captain Craig's been generous with me, Papa. Especially with his whiskey. But what he didn't know is that I didn't drink it. That I was just playing drunk, but I kept my ears open.
Huh?
So, you're very smart, Tony, aren't you? You're too smart. You're so smart that you're forcing me to kill him now. Yes, you and the girl, too.
He means it, Papa. He killed Jenkins. Didn't you, Captain?
You bet I did. He talked too much. Just like you.
Well, you certainly are a lovable cuss, Captain Craig. You let me catch you in the act of attempted murder. And what's more, you very obligingly confessed to another murder in front of these witnesses. Be gentle with him, Carter. Put him in the cell with his crooked police friend, Steve.
You mean you two plan all this to catch that man? Why you no tell me, Matt?
Because Antonio put himself in great danger. I didn't think you'd be able to stand that.
You are right. The wineries are no worth it.
I think it is, Papa.
Shut up, who asked you? I'ma hate you, Antonio. You make a fool of your old papa. You show me you better son than I'm a father. I'm no good.
I am sick and tired of everybody around this house being no good for everybody else. I think we're all very good for each other.
I've been most everywhere, but I like where I am today, and here is where I'll stay. Now one thing I just can't endure is being broke and being poor, so I come west to take the cure, and here is where I'll stay. I've come to California, California. There's gold in them there hills in California. I've come to live where life is best, in the golden west. I'm gonna strike it rich in California.